Hey, welcome back to Patio Commentary. My name is Matt Jarbo, and I finally sat down to watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is one I've been waiting for since I first saw the first movie back in theaters in November 2011. Yeah, it's been over 11 years since we've had anything really official in the Shrek world. I know there was a Puss in Boots show on Netflix that's at like 6 seasons because my daughter really likes it, but I was like, really wanting there to be more set in this universe. And when they finally announced this thing and they finally released this thing and I finally saw this thing, yeah, it was worth the wait. I'll tell you why it's worth the wait. This movie is so good that I believe it could actually bypass Best Animated Feature and make a solid run at Best Feature Film. It won't, because Hollywood will never, ever give animation the comeuppance it deserves in regards to that particular type of cinematic feat, because they're very much self-congratulatory and self-masturbatory. If you followed like The Fabelmans and Babylon and a few other films coming out this last year, you know what I'm talking about. But Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is one where they give us a nice like ending to Puss's story while still opening it up for the future. And I think the concept about having lived a life where you lived dangerously, where you never really felt that you were going to die, that you felt invincible. I think the idea there is a bit of an allegory for when we're younger, and how when we're younger, we feel invincible, like nothing can touch us, nothing can get in our way. We'll live forever. We can eat whatever we want, do whatever we want, drink, smoke whatever we want. We'll be absolutely fine. But then one day you wake up and you're 40, like me, and you've got like, gray hair that's silver beyond belief. I don't even get carded anymore when I go to get booze. And I've got kids and I've got a house and I've got a mortgage, and it's like the adventuring days kind of feel like they've come to a minimal end. And it's all about perspective and how you look at your life. And that's a lot of what Puss goes through in this movie, while literally outrunning death. And it was really interesting and compelling how they put that together, because the concept of the wolf as the bounty hunter coming to get him, he doesn't realize what the metaphor is. He doesn't realize who this person is and why this person can track him and defeat him at every step, because he knows him so well. And it's all about Puss coming to realize and recognize his own faults, his own past, and what he has to do for the future, like to be different. But part of that becomes also taking responsibility for how he's let people down in the past. And that's where we get Kitty Softpaws, played once again by Salma Hayek, who comes back into the fold. Sadly, no Humpty Dumpty, no Zach Galifianakis return, no mention to Zach Galifianakis, no real mention at all to the previous movie, which I thought was a little bit weird because I liked the previous movie, but it's not seen as one of like the better Shrek universe entries, so to speak. I mean, many would probably argue like Shrek, Shrek 2, Puss in Boots, Shrek 4, Shrek 3, whatever. But now I actually put The Last Wish probably right up there, if not slightly above the first Shrek. This is one for me that I feel is infinitely rewatchable because of the older that I've gotten, right? Because I first saw Shrek back in theaters in 2001, not long after I turned 19. I turned 41 in 2 months. To give you just an idea of how long these movies have been in my life. And the fact that I have kids means I have rewatched all of those movies numerous times in recent years, and they mean more to me now than they did when I was younger, because I get the messaging a lot more, which I think is really good, actually. And this one I really enjoyed because not only was the story really good, the setup was really good. I think Antonio Banderas brought his A game for this. The only real complaint I have with the voice acting was Salma Hayek does not sound like Salma Hayek for like the first half of the movie, which is really weird, but that is something that I noticed. However, all the other voice acting, pretty damn fantastic. Florence Pugh as Goldilocks was great. Olivia Colman as Mama Bear, Ray Winstone as Papa Bear. That whole team was fantastic. John Mulaney as Little Jack Horner, with one of the most like just violently vicious streaks I've ever seen out of a villain in the movie. And he does such a great job. Like, it's he's just so vain and so narcissistic and so callous. He would make a great villain on his own, but it's complemented by death being on the horizon as they make their way to go and get this wish. What I enjoyed quite a bit about the story was how it kind of intermixed in between the different types of people, right? So when the map directs them to where the star is in the dark forest, it differs based upon whoever's holding it, right? Because it's trying to put obstacles in their way to probably prove to them that they have what they're seeking, or maybe what they're seeking isn't ultimately what they want. The best example for this was obviously the Goldilocks storyline. I'm not going to go into details on that. You obviously know the story, but it worked really well to solidify how how that family operated. And even though it was imperfect, it was like perfectly imperfect, which I actually really enjoyed. And then of course, as we get into like Perrot and or Piero and his story, you know, the dog, the ever-go-lucky dog who's just had like the worst life ever, was really fascinating. Like how his whole his journey was just like stop and smell the roses, like don't even worry about it, just be this way. And that was really interesting. But then of course, getting into what Puss was like and what Softpaws was like and what Jack Horner, and you can just see kind of like these weird obstacles that tie into either past trauma or making them face themselves, which I thought I really enjoyed that. And that if they would have had like a, you know, like a multi-choice element to this movie where you could kind of go through each of the different storylines, I think it would have been really, really, really fascinating. Like that's how good this movie was. It makes you want to spend more time in this specific instance. And I think it just, even though there wasn't Shrek yet, there were references to like past Shrek films. There were references, there were some other characters that pop up, everything else. Like you just enjoy what the movie is. It's kind of like for me with Shrek Forever After is like one of my favorite Shrek movies because it does distance itself from the core story and goes into a side adventure that again is about metaphor and about knowing your place and realizing, learning to love where you are, learning to love yourself, learning to love what you have. This movie ties into that a little bit as well, which is why I think like the messaging goes as hard as it does. And then of course, death, which I'm not going to go into that too much because I want you guys to experience that on your own. It's just amazing. It's brilliant. I love it. And then of course we get to the end of the movie and there's definitely a setup for more. I had kind of figured that something like that was going to happen, but when you get to the end and you just start hearing the music and I was like, oh, and then like what the camera cuts to, I was like, oh, you know, I was really excited for more. So this movie has done pretty well internationally, I think, and domestically. I think worldwide is over $200 million. Is doing very well on PVOD right now. Universal, I'm hoping, is going to make more. Either another Puss in Boots movie or reuniting the team for whatever reason. I don't know, but I feel like it's on the horizon. We've gone too long without some more Shrek. The world is ripe for the picking. And you can lampoon the hell out of everything, and I love it. So if you guys saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, let me know your thoughts on it. Any movie you want me to review, let me know down in the comments section. My name is Matt Jarbo. This has been Patio Commentary. If you want to get more deep dives into films, I do a long-form podcast called Patio Commentary once a week. Just dropped an episode on Battle Los Angeles, so that's up right now. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching, and peace out.